It's so good to be here and see your beautiful faces. I guess it's been 2 years since I was a full-time member here, and where does time go? I don't know. Nobody else has changed but me. You all look the same. You all look wonderful. So as we heard earlier, our talk this week is on choosing unconditional love. And, the word love is spoken every day in many different ways. And when the subject comes up, it's like, okay, now I need to really think about this. What is unconditional love? Well, somebody beat me to it because there was a most magnificent, beautiful wedding that took place, a royal wedding, took place in England. And Bishop Michael Curry did a magnificent sermon on unconditional love. Well, that was part of it anyway. But so he talked about power, and he talked about fire and the possibilities of this really powerful word called love and sharing it. And of course it was focused on the young couple. Aren't they beautiful? It's like this big thing coming together in this world. All the things that we've been learning and talking about. So I listened to him on YouTube again, and he talked about the different kinds of love. The passionate love, of course, with a young married couple, and that's the one that kind of sometimes gets us into trouble. But anyway, and loving thy neighbor. We all have neighbors, and some of them are not too lovable, but that's not the point. The point is unconditional love is sacrificial. It's something that we can't just all have our way. It's something we need to consider that we're all one. We are all united with everything. Everything, the universe has this energy, and this energy exists in every one of us. And so that's our connection. It's not necessarily a personal connection, like you can't tell me I'm related to that person out there, No, it's a connection that is from the law of the universe, that our intentions and our thoughts and everything that comes through us has a ripple effect, and it goes out and it changes something. It changes us, it changes whatever our intention is directed towards. So Michael Curry spoke of this unconditional love and how powerful, and how if the whole world had this intention, it would be heaven. It would be perfect, and it would. But how do we get that? How do we do that? Well, this was my challenge, because I'm thinking I'm going to have to talk about this. And it's not really easy, because the word love is just thrown around, and sometimes it's in songs. So I thought, okay, I'm going to, excuse me. Did you stretch my glasses? I'm going to think about some songs. So we have a couple that live in Prescott, and their name is Captain and Tennille. I don't know if any of you remember them. Well, they sang a song. The song they sang, "Love Will Keep Us Together." And I loved that song. I mean, unconditionally, I love that song. So I didn't think too much more of it. I didn't follow their lives, but they live in Prescott. She has a house not too far from us. They're divorced. and he sadly is in a nursing home now. But she still has her beautiful voice, and she's singing in the choirs. And I have not personally heard her, but I thought, they sang that wonderful song, and I'm sure they meant it. Love will keep us together, but that didn't happen. So was that intent of unconditional love that they were professing for each other and in their song, was that just words? So it didn't appear to me to be unconditional. Then another song came to mind that Kenny Rogers sings. Love or something darn near like it's got a hold of me. Darn near like it. Okay, what does that mean? It either is love or it isn't. But darn near like it is not unconditional for me. So I went on from there. And I remember us saying that love is never having to say you're sorry. Do you remember that? I don't hear it too much anymore, but my husband Ray and I just celebrated our 48th wedding anniversary. And it's been a roller coaster, as all marriages are. If we had not apologized to one another once in a while, we would probably still be fighting and arguing and not even remember why, or we'd be divorced, or whatever happens when you don't apologize, when you don't say you're sorry and forgive, because that's unconditional. You take people for better or worse. You take each other for better or worse, and that's unconditional because you forgive. And forgiveness, when you forgive someone, it changes. It softens the energy. And that energy directs you back to remember what you had in the beginning that brought you together. It was love. And your vows, I will love you for better or worse. I will love you unconditionally. And I guess that's what we've done so far. Anyway, we're having a wonderful marriage, and in our retirement, we're even conditioning ourselves more. So, I looked it up. Webster's dictionary defines conditional as a stipulation, a requirement placed on anything. And this can be through love. When we give a gift, I give my kids financial gifts now because they're older and they don't play with toys anymore. Well, they do, big toys, but anyway, so I give them gifts, and we all do that. And in our mind, it's like, I hope he doesn't bet it on the racetrack. I hope, listen, I'm going to give you this present, but promise me you'll be wise in your choice of how to spend it. That's a stipulation. We can't do that. If we're unconditionally loving, giving this present, this gift, there's no strings attached. There cannot be strings. So that word unconditional is really a reminder for us. In the case of marriage, I'll marry you for better or worse. But just in case, would you sign this little prenup here? No way. Don't even go there. In the New Testament, in John 3, verse 16, it tells us that God so loved the world, he gave his Son to teach us the way. Spirit so loved us, so loved this world. And this world is not all that great a thing to love, I wouldn't think, but where we're at right now, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I believe that we're blessed with this philosophy to not have fear and to know that wherever it's going to work out and for our highest and best good. But Jesus came here. He came here to teach us the way. And the universe sacrificed him to our cruelty. But that was how many years? 2,000 years ago? And yet his teachings are still the way. His teachings are still with us. And this blessing is because Jesus shared the same divine nature of God. And he knew that our human soul is the personification of God. We carry the same thing. We are the same. We just have a little way to go towards the enlightenment to evolve. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly learning. We're constantly moving forward and up that spiral staircase to reach higher good. That's our goal. And it's a great goal, because if not, well, I don't want to even go there. So that's that unconditional promise from the universe and from the Spirit and from God, whatever we like to call it, is that just love. I am love. God is love. Ernest Holmes says, to know God is to love, for without love there is no knowledge of God. Love is free from condemnation, free from fear, a cosmic force so powerful it is irresistible. All paths lead to God. All religions in the world, the basics are still the same. It's that unconditional love from God. So how do we love unconditionally? And Otis was talking about that this morning. That was the message of the week. How to bring that into our life? Well, our thoughts and our words are action, and the universe hears what we think before we even speak it. So what do we want to think? What do we want to produce from our voice? If we think the word love, that's what's going to come forth. It changes the energy. It changes the reactions. It changes the atmosphere. It's put into motion. And, it's easy to do when we're in a congregation like this. We come in, we hug each other, we love each other, and then we go out in the world and somebody knocks us off the sidewalk and it's like, okay, where did that go? Or we're driving along and somebody cuts us off, and it's training, it's conditioning our minds to take a breath and think. Think about what we're going to think about. I want to think love. I want to say love. I like to bless the bad drivers on the road. That wasn't an easy lesson for me to learn, but it takes away the anger. It takes away my frustration. Bless you, brother. Go. Get out of my way. Just go. But it does. It changes. And I think the other thing that's important is to step back and be aware of what our thoughts are producing. Next time an irritable situation or something that makes you uncomfortable comes right in front of you, take a breath, step back, put love in your heart, put love in your mind, and just be aware of the change. See if there's a change. Notice it. And make it a habit. Because that's how we work. We're conditioned. So in order to change ourselves into unconditional, loving people, we need to practice it. We need to be aware of it. Be aware of our thoughts. Be aware of our what we're speaking, and know that we're not going to change the world overnight, but each person can change it in their own way, a little bit at a time. We're all powerful people. We're all amazing souls. And this path and journey we're on is amazing. And we can take it and do something positive with it and help change the world by just our thoughts and our actions. I wanted to read something this morning. Otis, you'll give me a little cue if I'm going over my time, right? Okay. Let's see. Ernest Holmes, as you all know, was, I think you know, the founding father of science of mind. And Emerson, who I've studied through for my ministry, is also our founding father. And they're both have marvelous writings in this book. So, the great love which I feel for the world is the love of God, and it is felt by all and comes back to me from all. I understand all people, and this understanding is reflected back to me from all. I give friendship, and therefore I have friends. I help, therefore I am helped. I uplift, therefore I am uplifted. I am now surrounded by all love, all friendship, all companionship, all health, all happiness, all success. I am one with life. I wait in the silence. Excuse me. I wait in the silence. I didn't bring my water up here. While the Great Spirit bears this message to the whole world. We draw in what we project, what we want, our intentions. They come to us. So by projecting love and thinking love and doing it unconditionally, we draw that to us. And we're surrounded, just as we are now, by people that think unconditional love for each other. So our challenge is to do that every day, wherever we are, in our work, in our play, in our home. Think nice thoughts. Think forgiveness. Think love. That's what we are. How do we choose unconditional love in our real life situations? By recognizing that oneness, by recognizing our connection to the ultimate energy, the ultimate highest vibration in the universe that is perfect. And we were born perfect. We were born innocent. We had no so-called sins. The definition for sin is missing the mark, making a mistake. Well, if we weren't in this world making mistakes, we'd kind of just be walking around and wondering why we're here, because we wouldn't be learning anything. So don't be so hard on yourselves, you know. It's just, it's a mistake. Don't do it again. Or correct it. So knowing that we are all connected by this unseen energy, it's called one. It's just one. And we always say that. We talk about it on Sundays about that one. Everything's one. Everything flows. Everything is all together. And then we go out in our real life and can't imagine being connected to some of the things that are going on. However, the truth is we are. So Dr. Marilyn taught me the wonderful Ho'oponopono prayer of, it's very simple. It's, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Because whatever goes on, we're involved somehow by that one little connection. We're not conscious of it all the time. But our reaction to things causes an effect. It's cause and effect. It's so simple. And yet it gets so complicated to try and live it. So unconditionally, it's just knowing. It's knowing it's all okay. It's knowing that what I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I'm thinking is going to affect everything around me. So stop and think. Breathe. Take a breath. Calm down. My husband's always telling me that. Calm down, Linda. No, I have to get it out. So we're heading towards perfection. We're not there yet, but close. We're close. And by knowing that there's a spark of goodness in everything, realizing that, knowing it deep in your heart, that what we perceive or what we, our perspective on something is like, that's terrible. The news, I do a lot of Ho'opono when I get up in the morning and watch the news because I want to be aware of what's going on and I want to pray for it. So it's simple, it's easy. I feel the weight lifted off of my shoulders, knowing that, okay, maybe I was involved somehow unconsciously, but I'm asking forgiveness and I'm receiving it. I'm forgiving myself. And by forgiving myself, I can forgive others. It's not that difficult. It's stopping, it's thinking. We have our minds. Some people don't know how to use them anymore, and it's so sad. But, and as we age, yeah, it's like, what'd you do? What'd I have for breakfast this morning? I don't remember, But I can go back 40 years and know exactly what song was playing, So there are challenges in our time here on Earth, and those challenges can be fun. They can be really exhilarating. These challenges can be made fun. That not the initial, sometimes the initial impact on us that hurts us, but knowing that we can take that hurt away, knowing that that power is within us. And I think that's what Bishop Curry was trying to say about the power and the fire, is our power, our fire to handle our own lives, to take our responsibility, to know that nobody's going to do it for us. We have to love unconditionally in order to receive unconditional love. It starts with us. It starts with that first thought. I choose love. I choose to be loving today. I choose to be happy. I choose to be a good person. That's the choice. That part of me is in here. And I'd go within to find it. That's how we do it. We go within because it's not that person that's challenging us. It's not that situation that's come in front of us to hurt us or make us uncomfortable. It's there for a reason to teach us to go within and bless it, let it go away, forgive it, whatever we have to do to move from it. It was one of the questions on my ministerial exam a couple weeks ago. What if you're confronted by this raging person? How do you react as a minister or a practitioner or a God-fearing person, as they say in the religions? How do you react? Well, I used to really get angry and shout back, and it became a tennis match, back and forth, and I'd get angrier and angrier, and I got nowhere. I went off frustrated, and all this resentment built up. So I learned to back off, take a breath, and depending on what the situation was, either pray or just ask the universe, okay, give me a sign, give me an answer. All you have to do is ask. And it changes that, what I referred to before, it changes that energy. When your thoughts change into how do I deal with this situation, instead of that confrontation just going back and forth. That's how we solve our problems. That's how we solve what we consider problems that are just challenges in our life. So, by following the universal law that always says yes. You know, we ask for stuff. We ask for our own goods or not so goods by thinking them. So I catch myself when I get into a slump, or I get into I'm a woman, I get bad moods. I have to catch myself because it builds, and pretty soon you can't think of anything else. I have to stop, take a breath, and go within and realize that I'm just bringing it on myself. There are other ways to resolve and make myself feel better. And that's the whole thing. We want to feel good. We want to feel amazing, because that's what we are. So, this I know, and it is so. And I'm not Reverend Gay. I don't know if you noticed. I am not Reverend Gay. We do wear the same shoe size, though. So I'm hoping that was a little helpful. But I'm going to try this, because I know Gay sings like a songbird, and I'm not Reverend Gay. It's a miracle, a sight to see. Oh, the way it takes care of me, way down deep in my soul. Something's got a hold and it won't let go. If I stumble, when I fall, it picks me up and tells me all. It's a miracle to me. That's it, folks.